Therefore, for the moment, I passed Miss Austen by, after asking you, Mr. Cabell, if you were Miss Austen. What remained? The valet. Motive? Several possible ones, one or two probable. He is French, or says he is. Miss Renier is French. Therefore, I had arrived at the conclusion that they knew each other, as people of the same nationality will in a house of this sort. And remember, I had passed by Mr. Cabell and Miss Austen, so the valet was the only one left. He could use the bathrobe. Well, the motive. Frankly, that was the only difficult point in the entire problem. Difficult because there were so many possibilities, and each possibility that suggested itself suggested also a woman. Jealousy? There must be a woman. Hate? Probably a woman. Attempted extortion? With the aid of a woman. No other motive which would lead to so elaborate a plot of murder would come forward. Who was the woman? Miss Renier. Did Miss Renier know Henley? Mr. Hatch had reason to believe he knew her because of his actions when informed of her death. Knew her how? People of such relatively different planes of life can know each other, or do know each other, only on one plane. Henley is a typical young man, fast, I dare say, and liberal. Perhaps then there had been a liaison. When I saw this possibility, I had my motives, all of them: jealousy, hate, and possibly attempted extortion as well. What was more possible than Mr. Henley and Miss Renier had been acquainted? All liaisons are secret ones. Suppose she had been cast off because of the engagement to a young woman of Henley's own level? Suppose she had confided in the valet here? Do you see? Motives enough for any crime, however diabolical. The attempts on Henley's life possibly followed an attempted extortion of money. The shot which wounded Henley was fired by this man, Jean. Why? Because the woman who had cause to hate Henley was dead. Then the man? He was alive, and vindictive. Henley knew who shot him, and knew why, but he'll never say it publicly. He can't afford to. It would ruin him. I think probably that's all. Do you want to add anything? He asked the valet. No, was the fierce reply. I'm sorry I didn't kill him, that's all. It was all about as you said, though. God knows how you found it out, he added desperately. Are you a Frenchman? I was born in New York, but lived in France for 11 years. I first knew Louisa there. Silence fell upon the little group. Then Hatch asked a question. You told me, Professor, that there would be no other attempt to kill Henley by extinguishing the gas. How did you know that? Because one person, the wrong person, had been killed that way, was the reply. For this reason it was hardly likely that another attempt of that sort would be made. You had no intention of killing Louisa Renier, had you, Jean? No. God help me, no. It was all done in these apartments, the thinking machine added, turning to Cabell, at the gas jet from which I took the tip. It had been only loosely replaced, and the metal was tarnished where the lips had dampened it. It must take great lung power to do a thing like that, remarked Detective Mallory. You would be amazed to know how easily it is done, said the scientist. Try it some time. The thinking machine arose and picked up his hat. Hatch did the same. Then the reporter turned to Cabell. Would you mind telling me why you were so anxious to get away tonight? He asked. Well, no, Cabell explained, and there was a rush of red to his face. It's because I received a telegram from Virginia, Miss Lipscomb, in fact. Some of Henley's past had come to her knowledge, and the telegram told me that the engagement was broken. On top of this came the information that Henley had been shot, and I was considerably agitated. The thinking machine and Hatch were walking along the street. What did you write in the note you sent to Cabell that made him start to unpack? Asked the reporter curiously. There are some things that it wouldn't be well for everyone to know, was the enigmatic response. Perhaps it would be just as well for you to overlook this little omission. Of course, replied the reporter, wonderingly. End of Section 7, The Scarlet Thread, by Jacques Vidrel, Part 2. Recording by Julie Niedermeyer.